I really love the innovation that we have here at Real Broker in terms of our technology and the culture. I love the community that we have here as well. And just by coming over instantly, like I'm saving a lot of money and we have additional streams of income into our businesses here at Real and kind of my new life circumstances. That was just incredibly beneficial for me, is saving money and then having access to these other streams of income.
While Real Broker is one of the fastest growing publicly traded cloud real estate brokerages in the country, offering agents incredible splits, additional revenue opportunities, and a great culture, the truth is that just like anything else, it has its pros and cons. And so today I've actually brought on Malcolm Lawson, who has been at Real Brokerage since it was just getting started and has an amazing YouTube channel all about Real Broker, to share with us about the incredible pros and the cons of Real Broker. If you're seriously considering whether or not Real Brokerage is a good fit for your business, this video is for you. And so let's go ahead and jump right into it. So Malcolm, thank you so much for joining me today. So tell me a little bit about how you got started in real estate.
Yeah, so I was in the Air Force for 11 years and I was planning on making a career out of that. In 2015, my son was born and he unfortunately has very severe intellectual disabilities and autism. Wow. And I was traveling around the world a lot. At my last assignment, I worked at the White House and I used to travel around the world with the president and the vice president. And obviously they put a lot of stress on my family back home and on my marriage and my wife. And so I made a decision to get out of the military and I got into real estate because of the flexibility, right? And owning my own business, and I can work the hours that I want to work, which is really helpful for me in my situation. And my mom is a real estate agent. So I jumped into this in 2017. And you know what I realized is that I love being self-employed. And I never am going to have a boss ever again in my life. I love this industry. I love running my own business. And so I've been doing real estate full time since about 2017 now.
Wow, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I can totally relate to just loving being self-employed. Myself, I got started, after being in construction and just kind of hitting that wall and realizing like, okay, I don't want to be here. I can't go any further. And I started listening to a podcast about real estate investing. And I was like, I think I could do this. And as soon as I made the jump and started my own business, I totally relate to what you're saying, just loving that entrepreneurial spirit, being self-employed. It definitely gives you the freedom to do the things that you want to do and also the things that you need to do, like you were saying, caring for your family, which is huge. And so obviously you started your career in 2017. Here we are today. You've moved brokerages a couple of times. Talk about how you actually ended up at Real Broker.
Yeah. So I got out of the Air Force 2017 and there was only one brokerage I ever considered, and that was Keller Williams Realty. I love Gary Keller's leadership and I read all of his books, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent and The One Thing. And so that's the only one only other brokerage I've ever been at was right into Keller Williams. And I was there for 5 years. And I drank the Kool-Aid, man. Like it's a bit of a cult over there. And I drank the Kool-Aid and I was part of it. And I signed up for the $1,000 a month coaching as soon as I got into there. And I went to all the annual events and took Bold class every year. Sometimes I took their Bold class twice a year, which is an $800 course. And around 2021, things just kind of changed for me. I had a divorce at that point. And so then I found myself as a single parent to a child with disabilities trying to run a business. And that's definitely a tough situation to be in. Yeah. And I had a couple friends that joined Real around the same time and I started looking into it. And yeah, I pulled the trigger and I came over to Real. And, what really attracted me was just really the sense of community that we have here. That we have a really strong community and I love the culture, and we have a really great emphasis on technology here as well. And I love Gary Keller. I love Keller Williams. They're old school, right? They've been around since the 1980s. It is kind of I don't want to disparage anybody, but that culture and their technology, it just wasn't really for me. And I really love the innovation that we have here at Real Broker in terms of our technology and the culture. I love the community that we have here as well. And just by coming over instantly, like I'm saving a lot of money and we have additional streams of income into our businesses here at Real and kind of my new life circumstances. That was just incredibly beneficial for me, is saving money and then having access to these other streams of income. And so that was March 2021 that I came over. Real is about 2,000 agents. And that was the best decision I've made in my real estate career. I'm so happy that I kind of pulled the trigger on that and been building a career here at Real ever since.
Yeah, man, that's exciting for me to hear personally. As someone who's relatively new to the brokerage, really only been here for a little over a month and a half now. And so, love your story. And it sounds like, your life circumstances kind of coincided with the potential, to sell real estate, but also benefit from the other additional streams of revenue, which, I know we've talked a little bit about that you do. You've been here for a few years now. So, what would you say are really the biggest pros of being at Real Broker?
Yeah, great question, man. So, I mean, for me, it's the culture of the company is going to be a huge, huge one for me. I love the
agree.
culture. Yeah. So one of our core values is work hard, be kind. And that's one of my own personal core values, right? I'm a very hardworking person and I'm a very empathetic and very kind person. And how many companies out there talk about being kind as a core value in the company? Not many. And I think that, we also have a culture of innovation. There's a reason why Real Broker won the Inman Innovator of the Year Award in 2023 is that this company is constantly innovating and pushing the boundaries and trying new things. Last year we rolled out a huge updates to our agent app, and we have an amazing agent app. You can run your entire business off of your agent app. We bought a title company and a mortgage company as well. And Real's vision is to reinvent the experience for the consumer in buying a home. And so what their vision for this is, I love it, it's totally innovative, is that when a client comes to Real, they're going to have a Real agent, a Real title rep, and a Real lender, all from the same company, just to try to streamline that process for the consumer instead of they come into me and say, hey, go talk to this other company for your mortgage and go talk to this other company for the title issues. They're all going to be under the same, company. And we're using the same technology, and we're launching a consumer app right now. We kind of have like the first version of it out right now. And the vision is that the consumer app is going to be that they download it really after they get under contract. And it's going to be a roadmap of where they're at in that transaction process.
Okay.
And it's going to give them updates, and they're going to get updates from the title company, the mortgage company, and the agent all on the same platform.
Wow.
And we'll see how it goes. But I love that they're innovating. They're trying something new. This year, they're launching their credit card and debit card as well. And I'm super excited about this. This is going to be for Real agents. And essentially, if you use their debit card, you can earn points, and those points are going to pay down your caps and fees that you pay into the company, which is super cool. Nobody else is doing that.
That's something that you don't even think about, I need that. And then all of a sudden you think about it and you're like, yeah, that could very well benefit my business. I mean, I'm already using business expenses as it is. I've already got a business card. If that could actually pay down towards my cap and other fees. And I mean, it's huge. That's awesome.
Yeah. And like we have like Macy's cards and like Amazon cards where you earn points and it saves you money. Why not have points for that? And like everybody I know, all the smart agents have a separate credit card just for all the business expenses. Right. So at the end of the year, all their business expenses are just on one credit card. So like, why not use your Real Broker debit card or credit card? And so they're also launching a credit card as well as the debit card. And the credit card, here at Real, we get free stock in the company, but it usually has a 3-year vesting period. And so they can say like, so Cameron has $40,000 in free stock waiting to be vested, or he has $10,000 in rev share that's projected to get. We can use that as a line of credit, extend a line of credit and use that as collateral to give him a line of credit and on his credit card. And what other companies are going to lend their agents money to grow their businesses? Nobody else is doing that. So I think we have a culture of innovation, and I freaking love that. That's so cool. I love being on the forefront of, just this industry and really pushing the boundaries. So I think the culture is going to be one big benefit. I think the technology is huge. We are fundamentally a technology company, and That's really where we shine. We have some of the best technology in the entire industry, and that we've built internally, that we own this technology. And now that we're licensing technology, we build our own technology. Kind of early on, I think 2021, Real bought a technology company. I forget what it's called, but it was Pritesh Damani. He is our chief technology officer. He owned a technology company making software for real estate agents, and Real essentially bought his company and bought him. And he's come on. He's been our chief technology officer ever since, and he's really kind of leading the team, creating all this great technology. And so we have Rezen, which is kind of our online dashboard, amazing technology. We have the Rezen app where you can run your entire business right there from your phone. We have the consumer app that they're rolling out with right now, and they're coming out with a Real wallet, which is how the debit and credit card are all kind of tied in together. And on top of that, we also have access to Workplace, which is created by Facebook. We have access to our Chime, which is now known as Lofty. And that's some of the most powerful CRM and website in the entire industry. It's usually $500 a month. We get it for $40 a month, which is a huge, huge savings. Do you use Chime? Are you using that for your business?
I am not. I use Follow Up Boss.
Yeah.
I'm kind of stuck in at this point. You know, you've been with a CRM for so long, and like I just learned the technology. I'm comfortable with it. I'm looking at a Chime, but at this point, I'm like probably just going to stick with Follow Up Boss, even though I know I'm paying more.
Yeah, I mean, here's what I love about it is that it's not mandatory, right? There's other companies that give you technology like this, but they force you to get it, and then they charge you a monthly technology fee, whether you use that technology or not. Real understands, like, hey, you may have a website you've had for years or a CRM, so we're make it optional, but it's a huge savings. Usually $500 a month. It's so powerful. Even if you just use it for the website purposes, like it's really in depth what you can do with it. But yeah, our technology is just above and beyond anything I've had access to in this industry before, and we're constantly pushing the boundaries and innovating with that. And so I think the culture, the technology, and then lastly, it's like the community is what I really love about this company. You know, it's interesting. So we almost all own some stock in this company. Even if you're closing 1-2 transactions a year, you can opt into the stock purchase program where if you buy stock out of your commission, they'll give you free stock on top of that. So pretty much everybody owns some stock in this company. And we have access to revenue share, right, which is helping. They reward the agents who are growing the company through revenue share. And so we have this sense, all the agents have this sense of ownership in this company, where we're not working for the company, we are owners in this company. And that has a huge impact on the culture and the community and the training that we have here. And so our community is super just helpful and super entwined and collaborative. And, you know, we're up to 14,000 agents now all across North America, and you get to just mastermind and tap into these huge networks of agents all across the country. And I love it. Like that, it's hard to quantify how valuable that is. Agreed. But it is very valuable kind of having access to this really giving community of like-minded agents all across the country. So for me, I think those are, I mean, there's probably, I could list like 10 pros, but those are probably the 3 biggest pros. You know, I'll add one more, and that's additional streams of income into your business.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that because I think that's one of the main reasons it sounds like you got into it. I know for me that was one of the main deciding factors in joining a cloud brokerage is looking at potential additional streams of income. So speak to that a little bit. Would love to hear your thoughts.
I mean, we got a couple of additional streams that I didn't have access to before here. One of them is just free stock in this company. They want to be owned by the agents because they know how impactful that is on the company. And so they give away a lot of free stock in this company. If you hit elite agents, which for most agents about 28 transactions a year, they'll give you up to $24,000 completely free stock in this company, which is amazing.
Right. Especially when your cap is only 12.
Yeah. So if you sell 28 transactions a year, if you count the $24,000 in free stock as cash equivalent, you're going to be a net positive of about $4,000 a year if you're selling 28 homes a year. So they're actually paying you to be an agent here at the company, which is amazing. You're not going to find that anywhere else. There's no other company I know of that you'll be a net positive. They pay you to be an agent here. And so that's one way to get free stock. The other one is, you know, for attracting agents to the company when they close their first transaction, you get stock in that. The other way is by capping. When you cap And most agents takes about 7 transactions to cap. They'll give you free stock in the company, and then just a stock purchase program. So if you buy stock in the company, they give you free bonus stock on top of that. So even if you're only selling 2-3 homes a year, you get free stock on that. So that's one stream of income. We also have so we have a real title, and we have what's known as a joint venture. And you can be an owner in your state's title company. It's kind of a common enough practice for big teams in the industry, and you can be owner in the title company. The idea is that you're going to send all your business to that title company because you're an owner, and they pay out profits quarterly. So every quarter you can get a check for your state's real title program. And then the other one is revenue share, of course, so Real has decided to take their entire marketing budget, and instead of spending money on billboards and TV commercials and Facebook ads to try to grow the company, they just give that entire marketing budget to the agents who are helping grow this company one agent at a time. And there's a lot of benefits to this revenue share. First off, it's additional streams of income into our own businesses. And for me, I'm now, it's taken me about 3 years being at the company, but I'm now making a full-time income off of revenue share. And I'm making
outside of selling real estate.
Yeah, outside of selling real estate. That's the dream right there, isn't it? Like,
it's crazy. I love that. I love to hear that. Keep going.
Well, you know what I love about revenue share as well is that there are so many agents at this company that they make more by being an agent here at Real than they actually pay into Real, right? So our cap is $12,000 a year. If you have 3 capping agents, and you'll make up to $4,000 a year off each capping agent, that'll completely cover your entire cap. And there's so many agents here that between revenue share and the free stock, they make more money than they're spending into the company to be an agent here, which is amazing. So they're essentially, neutral or in the green for being an agent here. And for me, the revenue share is something I've really focused on. Just being a single parent is incredibly tough. I used to sell 30 homes a year. It's so challenging in my situation. Yeah. But with the revenue share, like I sit at home and I make videos like this and I hop on calls like this. And this is kind of what my job is. I sit in my little home studio and I've turned that into a business, and that's available to anybody. Anybody can do that. Anybody can build up and focus on rev share and focus on that stream of income. And so for us, the agents in the company, it's an additional stream of income, full-time income for me. And I think there's just a lot of benefit to that. One is, again, like it has a big impact on the culture of the company. Like I want to see this company grow. So I do free training. I do host free masterminds because of this rev share. It just incentivizes me to. And also the agents that are coming in, they have a sponsor into the company. Pretty much everybody who joins Real knows at least one person at Real before they join, right? Whoever their sponsor is, they know somebody. And I feel like that has a huge impact on agent retention and the agent experience. And it's just better overall. Like this model of revenue shares is a better overall growth model than the traditional model of just spending money on marketing or trying to sell franchises, like what most franchise brokerages do. So
because at the end of the day, that benefits the company, the franchise, but doesn't necessarily go back into the agent. The agent doesn't necessarily see a massive benefit of that other than brand awareness potentially. In this situation,
that is the biggest load of crap that traditional brokerages try to sell us. That if you're with us, people respect our brand. We spend $5 million a year promoting our brand, and like you get to take advantage of that brand name, and they'll use you just because you're with this company. The biggest con that franchise brokerages try to tell you, in the end, it's the agents that really matter when it comes to brand, and you really need to be developing your own personal brand, not relying on some company's brand. Totally.
Even Real. Right. I mean, I've been at 3. This is my 3rd brokerage at this point. Started off at a local one, then went to a national one, and now here in another national. And one of the things that I did early on is exactly what you're saying, is starting to brand my own personal brand so that no matter where I went, I would be able to take that with me, which is so huge. Like, and especially when you're at a company like this, people are looking at you and they maybe say, well, I don't know about Real Broker, but I know Cam, or I don't know about Real Broker, but I know Malcolm, and I know that he's a good guy. I know his mom's been in the business forever, whatever. You have those connections, and people end up working with you because of who you are, not necessarily because of the sign and the fact that you're with a big recognized, Berkshire Hathaway or whatever, ad infinitum. So I totally agree with you. But, obviously, I mean, we kind of spent a lot of time talking about how great it is, Real is. And I love your passion, man. Like, you are, one of my co-sponsors, which is another cool thing that Real offers, is the ability to have a co-sponsor. And so you can have, someone locally or someone nationally. And so really, really glad, I found you on YouTube and learned a lot from your videos. I love your passion about Real, but, as we know, nothing is perfect. And so you've been here for enough time that I feel that you could probably speak to some of the cons. If someone's watching this thinking about maybe joining Real, what would you tell them? Hey, don't join Real because of this. What would you give them as the cons of the company?
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to say that co-sponsorship is another demonstration of our culture of innovation right there. That's
Agreed.
something that they innovated right there last year. Yeah. So as far as cons go, there's definitely some very specific types of agents that, you want to kind of take a second to kind of, evaluate your options. And one I would say is if you are, let's say, a brand new agent and you want to join a team, and that's you don't want to be a solo agent, you really just want to join a team. Well, the truth is, we're at about 14,000 agents right now across North America, and there are some states that only have a few hundred agents. And so if you're looking to join a team, there are other companies that have 100,000, 150,000 agents. I think Keller Williams is somewhere around 150, 160,000 agents. So if you wanted to join a team specifically, you may have more options available to you at a larger brokerage just because of the agent count. So that's kind of like one specific scenario where, you may want to look at your other options. I'd say another one is if you just want to focus on building a downline and recruiting and agent attraction, there are quite a few practices that other companies will allow that Real Broker doesn't allow. So, for example, you can't just cold call agents all day long. There's other companies. You can go there and just hit the phones, just cold call people nonstop, 8 hours a day, and try to recruit real estate agents that way. Real, you can't do that here, right? We have a culture of being kind, and Real does a lot to try to protect that culture. And we want to kind of protect our brand to some extent as well. And so there's a lot of activities like cold calling that you can't do to build a downline here. You also can't run advertisements. You can't do Indeed posts. You can't do a lot of companies do this like bait and switch training thing. Like, hey, I'm going to put on a big training all about YouTube, and you get there and half the training is just trying to recruit you to their company. We can't do that here. So I see that as a positive, honestly. I see that as a positive. There's plenty of activities you can do for agent attraction. This is one of them right here. But there's a lot of activities that you can't do. So some agents may see that as a con, that you can't cold call real estate agents all day long to try to recruit them. And I would say, like, also we are a technology company. Everything is virtual and digital. We do video calls like this all the time. We have masterminds. It's all digital. And there are some people who have been in this industry 20, 30 years, and they're so just used to going into a physical office, or maybe collecting a check at closing and going into your office and hand delivering your check to your admin person at your office.
Yep.
We're here, I don't even go to closings anymore. The title company wires transfers the money to Real does a direct deposit into my bank account. It's so simple, but there are some old school agents that kind of have a hard time with that transition to doing everything digital. And so that can be kind of a negative for some of those folks.
I'm up here in New England area. And as you know, this area is, pretty old school, I guess you could say. I've had a lot of conversations even already with people that are hung up on the office situation, and not having an office. So for me personally, it doesn't matter. Like, this is my home office. I love the fact that I was able to direct deposit my commission check by taking a picture of it. I was like, why haven't we thought of this before? Like, to me, I love all the technology. But I think you're right. If someone does require that office environment, now you can rent an office, right? I mean, you can just rent your own personal
Oh, yeah,
space if you wanted
of
to.
course. Yeah, or for your team. And what I tell agents, like what did you really get out of your office space? Like a lot of them are like, well, what if I got to meet a client? I haven't done an in-person buyer's consultation since 2020. Every buyer's consultation that I do is through a video call just like this. It's so much more convenient for the buyers. I can do it with out-of-state buyers really easily. So much more convenient for myself. Obviously, sellers, you go to their house. If I ever run into a situation where a buyer wants to meet in person, I meet them at a Starbucks somewhere or a coffee shop. If I ever really needed a conference room, I'd go to my title company. I'd go to my mortgage lender and be like, hey, can I borrow your conference room? Your title company, mortgage lender would be more than happy to let you use their conference room, that once a year scenario where you may need it. So there's definitely ways to work around that. And I find this lifestyle so much more convenient than driving a half an hour to get into my office. Just driving a half an hour to get in my office, I gain an extra hour of productivity a day. Or you could look at it as gain an extra hour with my son every day, right, by working at home compared to driving into a physical office every day.
Although I will say it is dangerous if you make your office your best coffee shop, which I've done now, and I've had 3 separate meetings with out-of-state clients, and every single one of them has bought me. It's called a cruller at Lil's in Kittery. It's so good. And I'm just like, okay, this is working out well. I feel like I'm the one who's supposed to be buying them stuff, but they're like, right, oh, this is great. Here's a cruller. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my new office space. Like nobody did this when I was at the work office. It's a little bit less stuffy. I like coffee shops, to be honest with you. I think they're a great place to meet clients.
At the office I used to go to, there was always a box of donuts there. Always. It's a big box of donuts just waiting, just tempting me every day. And I try to eat healthy and man, it's hard. It's hard not to give into that temptation to eat some of those donuts. It's always like a lender or mortgage title company that would bring in donuts to try to.
So what you're saying is if you don't come to Real, you're actually going to get really fat.
You'll lose weight by coming to Real. I'll put it that way. You'll lose weight by guarantee, 100% guarantee.
Put this on our slogan: take the work hard, be kind off, and put join Real, you'll lose weight.
That's the incentive right there. But I mean, it's a real thing. We always have lenders bringing in donuts and sweets and cakes and stuff. I don't miss that.
That's funny, man. Awesome, Malcolm. Thank you so much for your insight today. It was awesome having you on, man, and thank you again.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Thanks for having me on. I could always talk about Real for hours. I could talk about Real, obviously.
Good stuff, man.
So as you can see, Real Broker is not perfect, but there are certainly a ton of great things to like about it. And if you'd like to talk more, you can actually schedule a one-on-one call directly with me just by clicking the link right in the description below. And make sure to watch this video here, going over in detail all of the aspects of Real Broker.